Coming to you live from the Elliott Avenue Studios, this is The Barbershop. Brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail, the official auto detail provider of the Seattle Seahawks. And by the Trufant Family Foundation, an organization aimed at improving the community one kid at a time. With Marcus Trufant, here's T-Holla.
Welcome to The Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's me, T-Holla, and I'm coming to you live from Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's closest casino, the Above It All experience, where we are at every single Wednesday that the Seahawks have a home game. Thank you for joining us, whether you're listening to us right here in Seattle on 950 or you tuned in anywhere around the world on the iHeartRadio app. We appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. You guys know what day it is. Nathaniel, tell them what day it is.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
That's right. It's hump day, which means it's barbershop day. A little bit closer to the weekend, a little bit closer to having some fun, and hopefully you have some fun here hanging out with me tonight here in the barbershop. I gotta let you guys in on a little secret, though, man. I've been having a not-so-good day. I've been having a not-so-good week. I've been having a terrible, horrible, no-good, very bad week. And so tonight, I need you guys to hang with me. I need your moral support. I need your friendship, your companionship. I need you to hang out with me.
Well, True, you know you always got me.
But see, that makes it a little worse because you just called me True.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just called me True.
I meant
see,
to
it
say
doesn't
T.
get any. I thought it couldn't get any worse, but it just took it up to the next level.
I meant to say T. We'll just rewind it, pretend like we rewinded it, and I said T.
You almost did it again.
Okay,
ladies and gentlemen, that is my friend Nathaniel. He's back at the studio running the boards in Elliott Bay, and he just made my day a little exponentially worse. I'm going to explain to you guys what's been going on here as we go throughout the night, but I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. As you can tell, True's not here. As I look to my left where he normally is, there's a vacant space. I feel a little lonely, but let me tell you what happened. Last week, Marcus sent me a message, and he says, T, I got some good news and I got some bad news. Which one you want first? Of course, everybody says, I want the bad news first. You know, get it out the way, throw it to me. He says, T, I'm not going to be with you on Wednesday. I have to go out of town. I have some business to take care of. Okay.
Is he going back to the storage convention?
Yeah, no. He didn't even go to Las Vegas. He didn't go anywhere cool. He went to Pennsylvania. Like, he chose Pennsylvania over me. So, I mean, who does that? Who chooses Pennsylvania over anything? Why do you go to Pennsylvania in the middle of November? I don't know. I didn't ask. Let's leave it at that. So, that was the bad news. The good news, however, T, I got us a special guest to join you. He's going to co-host the show with you. Great, True. Who do we got? The one, the only, Big Play Babs, Jordan Babineau. Oh, my God. That's incredible. Jordan Babineau's a pro. He's a vet. He does this for a living. He's on television and radio weekly. He's a great interview. He knows what he's talking about. I can't wait to do it. So we get on the text thread and we're talking about the show, planning it out, getting it all ready for the last 4 or 5 days. And it was great until about 10 minutes before I head out to Snoqualmie Casino when Jordan texts me and says he's not going to be able to make it. And I'm stuck, Nathan. I'm stuck. I was like, what do? I have this entire show planned around Jordan Babineau. I wanted to talk to him about a million different things that I had questions on all these years that we've been knowing each other. And I'm stuck. So
you can just pretend that I am all-pro Jordan Babineau.
And that's what the plan is.
All right,
I'm going to pretend you are, and I'm going to hope that our listeners are out there, and they're going to stay tuned and keep my morale going. I almost called in. I called into the boss to let him know that I wasn't coming today. I'm not going all the way to Snoqualmie Casino from Snohomish, and I don't have a co-host. I don't think I could talk that long by myself. But you know what? Something inside me said, Terry, you're not a quitter. You're not the kind of guy that would give up just because Marcus isn't there, just because Jordan isn't there. So here I am. I'm here hanging out with you guys. I'll be here till 8 o'clock. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. But this is the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad T-Holla show. And we're going to stick with that for today. You good with that, Nathan?
Yeah, that'll be the name. You got it.
All right. Hey, man, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, but last week, a few UCLA basketball players got into a little bit of hot water over there in China.
Just a little bit of hot water, right?
A little bit of hot water, a little bit of a kerfluffle. They decided to steal some sunglasses and some other items from Louis Vuitton and some other high-end stores in China. And they got arrested. If you guys missed this, it was LiAngelo Ball, the brother of NBA superstar newcomer for the Los Angeles Lakers, Lonzo Ball,
and
the
youngest
son of
triple-double player ever.
You wanted to add that in there, right?
I'm pretty impressed, I have to say. I'm a Warriors fan, but that's pretty impressive what he did.
We're definitely going to talk a little bit about Lonzo Ball and his play a little bit later on in the show. But you know I'm not a super fan of the Balls in the first place. I may, depending on how his play comes along, I'm just not a fan of how they get down off the court. But that's a whole nother conversation. But they were caught stealing over in China. LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill, all freshmen. And they were arrested. And we know that in China, they don't have the same rules that we have here in America. They don't have the same little innocent until proven guilty system that we have here in America. They have a system where 99% of the people that they arrest for a crime, you go to jail. And for shoplifting, you can spend up to 10 years in prison. And they were confined to their hotel room, which to me, it always reminds me of the movie Coming to America when the prince and his servant were confined to the Waldorf Astoria. You're confined to your hotel for stealing? That's not really a punishment that fits the crime, if you ask me. But as I digress, they end up getting released and coming back to America. And they had the press conference today, and they were suspended indefinitely. Now, as I was racking my brain around this, I started thinking about all the athletes that I've heard about in the past that have been suspended indefinitely. And I cannot recall any player, whether it's college, professional, baseball, basketball, football, that has ever been suspended indefinitely and they came back. Now, Nathan, have you ever heard of anybody ever
I'm sitting here trying to think
getting
of
that tag
Ow.
saying I was suspended indefinitely and they were allowed back on the team? Just say no.
No,
It's okay.
I don't think so.
No. Basically, it is even a coach. You talk about a coach that gets suspended indefinitely, they're ultimately fired and let go. So I think what I'm seeing from this is that UCLA is going to cut ties with LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill, which is absolutely, they didn't have to suffer any punishment in China for stealing these items. And I don't think that's fair, for one. For two, I don't think they should spend 10 years in a Chinese prison for stealing these sunglasses. But I do feel that there should be some punishment meted out. However, we're looking at a situation where LiAngelo Ball is ultimately going to be okay. His brother's a multi-millionaire. He's probably going to end up being a superstar in the NBA. His father is a sideshow that has also built a brand, the Triple B brand, the Big Baller brand, a company that is going to market and
revolutionize.
I wouldn't call it revolution.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not a super LeVar Ball.
No, I'm not either. I just the way he talks about it, I think is the funniest thing about it. Like he talks about it like it's the next Under Armour and stuff. It's hilarious to me.
Yeah, and it's just not that impressive to me. And it's overpriced. And you're thinking about a pair of shoes that cost more than Jordan's, that cost more than LeBron's shoes, that cost more than Kobe Bryant's shoes, and it's a kid that's never played basketball in the NBA until this season. And it's just crazy to me that they are charging these outrageous amounts for these shoes. But as I digress again, people are still going to buy them because they are Lonzo Ball shoes. And they want to have the newest, latest, greatest things. All that to say this. LiAngelo Ball, if he is suspended indefinitely and ultimately never plays 1 quarter of basketball for the UCLA Bruins, he is going to be okay. He is probably going to get a shot, even if this happens and it pans out the way I think it's going to pan out. He's going to get a shot to play professional basketball somewhere. The tragedy and the travesty in this story comes when you're talking about Cody Riley and Jalen Hill. These are two heralded freshmen that were obviously blue-chip basketball players because they're playing for UCLA. But they may not get another shot again. They may have this black mark on them forever, that lasts forever. They might not come from wealthy families that can overcome an obstacle like this. So what happens to those guys? Do they go on and go to a small school now and try to finish out their college careers?
That's what I was thinking. Like, you go to a small school, kind of get found again, and then eventually get back to the big market, like a lot of people do with, like, JUCO and football.
Yeah, I think maybe that's probably what they will end up doing, Nathan. But I just think it's such a sad state of affairs. This is something that they did not have to do. They are over in China representing not only UCLA, not only representing themselves and their families, but they're representing the United States of America. They have to understand the situation that they're in. They have to understand the magnitude of what they've been given and the place that they're at. That being said, again, I think I just feel terrible for these kids that are they have an uphill battle, a serious uphill battle. They do deserve some punishment. I don't know if you actually saw this, but the President of the United States actually came out this morning and asked, where's his apology? He needed a thank you note.
I was going to read it to you, totally, because I was like, someone showed me today, this morning, that tweet, and I was like, did he really tweet about this?
Yes, if you guys missed this, the President of the United States, who is just coming off his tour of Asia, 12-day tour of Asia, he apparently went to the president of China and asked for a favor and asked for these guys to be let go, basically. And our president went on Twitter this morning and said he wants a thank you note. He wants a thank you card. He wants a gift in the mail from these three college freshmen for allowing them to leave China. Never heard anything quite like it before, but strangely and oddly enough, they
never
did.
had a president that tweeted like this guy did.
It's crazy, right? But oddly enough, these guys did. If President Trump would have just waited like an hour, he would have got the apology and the thank you that he wanted, and he got. And it came out. Hey, listen, you guys are tuned in to the Barbershop Show. There is no Marcus Trufant tonight. It's only T-Holla, and it is the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day show, because I've had a very, very trying day, a very trying weekend, and I need all of your support. Please text me with all your good messages. 49451. I need them, y'all. My self-esteem is at an all-time low. I might cry a little bit. If I wasn't in the casino where there's so much fun activity, I probably would be sitting in the car crying. But I'm at Snoqualmie Casino, and it's lots of fun. Seattle's closest casino, the Above It All experience. If you guys aren't here, I don't know where you are. You need to make sure you're here every single Wednesday, because True and I will be here every single Wednesday that the Seahawks have a home game. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about college football, because it is really going down in a major way. Coming up next.
Let's begin now.
Now back to the Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
No, instead of waiting on a good day, waiting around through ups and downs, waiting on something to happen, I just said...
Welcome back to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's me, T-Holla, and I'll be hanging out with you all the way until 8 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. I'm coming to you live from Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's closest casino, the Above It All experience, where there's lots of fun happening out there in front of me.
You like that song?
I love that song.
We're gonna have a good day.
I don't know what it was.
It's Good Day by Nappy Roots. It's an oldie but a goodie.
And you played it just to make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I saved that one for you.
Man, see, Nate, I can always count on you, man. Yeah, if I can't count on anybody else in this world, I can count on Nathaniel, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, everybody out there in the casino looks like they're having a great time. Me, I've been having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So that's why tonight's show is the T-Holla terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day show. And I'm going to share with you all the reasons why it's been a very bad day for me. A very bad week, in fact. And I need your support. I need you guys to text me some uplifting things. 49451. Matter of fact, just text me and tell me why you having a good day. Tell me why you're having a good week. Tell me why your life is so great right now. Help me feel better about me. Because right now, Marcus Trufant has left me. My co-host, my partner in crime, my ace has left me for the state of Pennsylvania. I lost out to Pennsylvania, of all things. And, I get it. I understand he had to go take care of some things. But he also said, T, I got a special guest for you that's going to join you in the studio and help you smooth that thing out. My partner, Jordan Babineau, Seattle Seahawks great. One of the great guys that's in the media here in Seattle will be there to hold down the fort for you. And he called me right before the show and said he's not going to be able to make it. So I'm having a not-so-good day. So text me here. Let me know, 49451, why you guys are having a good day. And Nathaniel, I think you said you had a text there for me.
Yes, I have a few, actually.
Oh, let me hear it.
One says, keep your head up, T. You're doing great. Another one says, keep up the great show. You don't need True.
Oh, man.
And then we got one more. It says, hang in there. First-time listener, enjoying the show. Those UCLA players don't deserve any breaks. Go Cougs. I think that's secretly true.
I think it's true. He had me all the way up to the Go Cougs part, man. He had me up to the Cougs. Speaking of, since normally it's true here, it's always one Cougar, one Husky. Tonight, since it's only me, I'm just going to make this all about the Huskies, man. I'm going to call one of the great Huskies of all time. This guy's my best friend. My best friend on the planet. We've been running together for almost 24, 25 years. I'm his kid's godfather. He's my kid's godfather. We're thick as thieves, man. He would do anything on the planet for me. His name is Lawyer Malloy. You guys may know him. He used to play for the Seattle Seahawks, but he made his bread with the New England Patriots. Super Bowl champion, All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Lawyer Malloy. Nathaniel, I just sent you Lawyer's phone number. If you could call him up, I think he would be a good guy to talk to tonight.
I'm going to call him up right now.
Right on, man. And Lawyer's always there for me.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Are you?
Well, then.
I need you to double-check that number, man, and we'll try to call Lawyer later on, man. It's all good.
All right.
Speaking of UW, man, and being not so good and having a not-so-good day, this is one of the things that started my week off bad. UW took a beat down last weekend versus Stanford. They went down to the farm and got their butts handed to them, and it basically gave control of the Pac-12 North to Wazoo. Of all teams, giving control of the Pac-12 North to the Cougars is just one of the things that I could not stomach over the past 5-6 days, and it's just killed me. We're at a point now where the Huskies started the season with so much promise. They look like one of the strongest teams in the Pac-12, and realistically, they still are pretty good. There is a chance for them to make it into the Pac-12 championship game, but it's a long shot. No longer is the ball in their court. They need some things to happen. They need Cal to go out this weekend and beat Stanford, which, as a guy coming from the Bay, Nathaniel, you already know that's a long shot. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but it's a long shot.
There's longer shots, and I think that's longer than those longer shots.
But it is possible.
It just doesn't happen.
But it is possible. I don't know what happened to my dog. See, at the beginning of the game, first of all, let me state this for the record. I'm really a little pissed off about this. And it's, again, added to the reason why I'm having this terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week. I turn the game on. I wait all day long. Prepare myself to watch my dogs get down. 7:30 on Fox Sports 1. I'm doing all my chores, getting everything together, got my dinner together, got my snacks. I sit down in front of the TV, 7:28, and there's NASCAR. Not even just regular NASCAR. NASCAR trucks. Like, NASCAR trucks, bruh. Like, who wants to sit and watch little bitty trucks drive around in a circle fast? So I'm thinking, okay, this will last for a couple minutes.
You know what the thing about it?
What?
Is, like, it was supposed to be over, I'm pretty sure, before that game. Like, obviously they scheduled it, but I don't think it actually ended. Like, it never ended.
No, listen, it didn't. It didn't. So this is what happened. They made those of us in Seattle who have regular, normal cable sit and watch this entire race. It was prolonged because of accidents. They just kept crashing into each other, which is what, as someone who does not watch NASCAR, I assume that happens all the time anyways. Every time I turn on NASCAR, it's cars crashing into the wall, crashing into each other. And these little bitty speedy trucks, all they did was ride around in circles and crash into each other. It lasted so long that we missed the entire first quarter of the Husky game. And that is the only quarter that the Huskies played good. And then on top of it, there was no reprieve. You couldn't turn it on another channel and catch it. They didn't put it in a little picture box on the screen. You just had to sit and watch NASCAR. And then to add insult to injury, after it lasted past the first quarter, they had interviews afterwards to listen to these guys talk about how they just drove around really fast in a circle for the last 2 hours. So that started it off bad. Then to watch the game just go downhill from that
when it
point.
came on, the game came on, like, I think there was like a commercial break that brought it in, right?
Yeah.
But the first thing was a Stanford touchdown.
A Stanford touchdown, which we missed the Husky touchdown, which is fine. So then the Huskies kind of started going back and forth. And then you watch Bryce Love, Stanford's all-American, all-everything, Heisman candidate, the guy who's probably going to win the Heisman. You watched him basically in the first half get dismantled by the Husky defense and leave the game with look like a significant injury. He could not even walk to the sideline at the end of the first half. He comes out in the second half, and it looks like they injected him with, like, nitroglycerin or whatever it is that makes
special stuff.
That special sauce. He has some special sauce because he came out of the second half, and we saw what a Heisman candidate looks like. He went berserk on the Washington Huskies, and we had no answers for him. Our defense could not stop him. They had number 19, their big 6'7" receiver. We had no answers for him. Our offense became stagnant. Jake Browning looked like, his game has regressed to a point where I almost don't recognize him for what he was last year, which was a guy that received Heisman votes. This was a guy last year that threw for, 40-some-odd touchdowns. This was a guy right now that is the all-time leading quarterback in California high school history. He threw for 90-something touchdowns in one season as a senior in high school. And he is, when the game is on the line versus Stanford, for your chance to go to the Pac-12 championship, is trying to run on 4th and 21. I'm just at a loss for words, and it
was bad.
It hurt. I know I wanted to talk more about college football, man, but the dogs just got me in such a way that I'm bamboozled right now, man. Obviously, they got to play this weekend against Utah. They're 17-point favorites, and the bad thing about this weekend is it's a game that doesn't even matter. They could win, they could lose. It does not matter either way. Only thing that matters is Cal beat Stanford. So right now we need all the energy in Seattle to focus on Cal Bears. We need to send them all of our energy. We need to send them all of our good mojo so that they can put that beat down on Stanford. And stranger things have happened, man. Like I said, maybe the band will run on the field once again, and we'll have some kind of mishap where Cal is able to do the unthinkable and beat Stanford. I don't know which one you, being from the Bay, Nathaniel. I don't know. I've
seen
guy.
The video of. I actually before I moved here, I worked for Stanford. That was my last job.
Okay.
But I'm not. I don't have any allegiance to either team, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
well, hopefully, like I said, miracles will happen and my dogs will prevail and we'll be in the Pac-12 championship. Hey, it's the Barbershop. We're coming to you live from Snoqualmie Casino. It's T-Holla without True. And when we come back, we're going to talk about these Seahawks. They got me in a funk, too. It's the Barbershop here on Sports Radio 950.
Now back to the Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Welcome back to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's T-Holla, and I am coming to you live from the Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's closest casino, the Above It All experience, where we are at broadcasting live every Wednesday that the Seahawks have a home game. You guys should come down here and hang out with us. It's always lots of fun. The slots, the cards, the dice. And right in front of us, they have the beanbag toss. We have some lovely assistants out here helping these guys throw these beanbags. Some of them can't really get the bag all the way to the hole, so to speak. But it's still a good time. This has been a very interesting show if you are just tuning in. It is the T-Holla, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day / week show. I've been having a very bad day, and it's just been coupled with a very bad week. And lots of things have been going on. I've been sharing some of those things with you. One of those is which Marcus Trufant, my co-host, my confidant, my partner in crime, hit me up last week and let me know that he was not going to be with me tonight at Snoqualmie Casino on the show, which was okay because he came with a very substantial feeling. Jordan Babineau, good buddy of ours, was going to be able to make it out here and fill in for Marcus. He's an expert when it comes to all things sports, especially the Seahawks. This is what he does. We had a show planned out, and we're ready to go and give you guys the best that Jordan Babineau had to give. And he had an emergency come up right before the show and could not make it. So it just added to my very bad, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And I'm here, and you guys have been sending me text messages making me feel better. Nate Daniel's been helping me hold it down. Nate Daniel, you got the board up there, man. What have people been saying?
Nothing new. Sorry.
Come on, man. And then you called me true, by the way. That made it worse.
I played the Good Day song, made up for everything.
You did.
Nothing yet. Send us some more texts.
Yeah, send us more texts. 49451. Let us know what's happening good in your world out there. One of the things I wanted to tell you this story, Nathan, and one of the things that added to my very bad day. I had to say, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention over the last couple months to the Barbershop show, but I have been in the process of remodeling and building a house. And when we bought the house, I thought it was going to be a 1.5 month, 2 month project. So the main thing that I wanted to have scheduled was to make sure I had my cable in my house. Nathan, that's the most important thing when you get a house, right?
Internet is the most important
Internet
thing.
And cable TV. So I bought the house in April. I scheduled my cable install for July 1st. Needless to say, I couldn't hold up to that date. So I rescheduled it for August 1st. August 1st came and went. I had to reschedule it for September. I did the same thing in October. That's how long my remodel has been going. Finally got it rescheduled so I could move in yesterday. Got the cable scheduled for today. I had to spend all day in the house with the cable guy, Nate. So I pointed out all the areas where I wanted my cable boxes. I wanted right there in my bedroom. I wanted there, especially in the living room, and I wanted in that room over there. We spent all day in the house. Just as he was leaving, I got it all done. You're all set up. You're good to go. And I'm getting the bad news that Jordan can't come, and I'm dealing with all that stuff. And the cable guy drives off. I go back into my house. He did not put cable in my main room. I don't even have a box. I don't have cable to go to when I go home. So you see what I'm talking about
You got
my
Wi-Fi,
day?
right?
So here's where I'm going with this story. So I have Wi-Fi. Here's where I'm going with the story. So I have Wi-Fi. I have to leave my house immediately after the cable guy so I could drive here to Snoqualmie. And my family texts me and asks me what's the Wi-Fi code is. I'm going through all this trauma, having a terrible, very bad day, and they text me and ask me for the Wi-Fi code. You know what I told them? Nothing. They don't get the Wi-Fi code till I get home, man. Everybody gets to have a bad day at the Holloman house. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Hey, the Seahawks last weekend, man, had one of the most costly victories that I've witnessed in a very long time. 22-16, they got a win last week in Arizona, but they lost Richard Sherman. They lost an all-pro cornerback. They lost a shutdown
Arguably
cornerback.
one of the best cornerbacks in football.
Arguably the best cornerback to ever play the game, a future Hall of Famer, gone with a ruptured Achilles for the rest of the season. It's just heartbreaking. It's hard for me to stomach that W. You always want to get a win, of course. But to lose a guy like Richard Sherman in a game like that is just troubling to anybody who's a 12 or anybody who's a Seahawks fan or really to anybody who loves football and loves to see the game played at the highest level. I know the Seahawks have this motto of next man up. It's always next man up. When somebody goes down, you got to find somebody who can fill in. I don't know that you have a next man up for Richard Sherman, Nathan.
I don't think a next man up for Richard Sherman exists, period.
No, that's what I'm saying. So not even necessarily on the team, but in the NFL, there's not a next man up when it comes to Richard Sherman. But you still have to play the game. You have to field the team. You have to put a defense out there. I immediately, after I saw that Richard was going to be out for the season, I took to Twitter, and I said that the Jeremy Lane deal, the trade, no trade, will instantly become the most important story of the Seahawks season from this point moving forward. Now, I think, is it just ironic that Jeremy Lane, who was traded to the Houston Texans in exchange for offensive tackle Dwayne Brown and some draft picks, did not pass the physical and ends up staying in Seattle? We end up keeping one of our veteran cornerbacks who knows the system, who could fill in and fit in that role, and we didn't have to go out on the street and get another one. But even though we didn't have to, they went out and got one anyways. They went out and got Byron Maxwell, a guy who's very familiar with the system, who signed a very big contract after a success that he had here in Seattle. Went down, and was down in Miami, but he was let go there. Had been sitting basically on the couch for the last month. And so the Seahawks went out and said, hey, we know B-Max. He knows our system. We're familiar with what he's able to do. So now they have Jeremy Lane, Byron Maxwell. They have the rookie Shaq Griffin out there. And they just have to make something work back there, Nathan. My question is to all those out there listening, and to you as well, Nathan, are they capable of winning? Are they capable of going out this weekend versus a very talented Atlanta Falcons offense and getting a victory? Can they succeed for the rest of the season with these question marks?
Well, I'm a little bit more just I like football in general. I think the fact that it's a Monday night game in Seattle comes into play, but I mean it's going to come down to Russell Wilson. I think the defense is going to struggle because I watched that Cowboys-Falcons game. It looked like the Falcons are finally starting to get it together. Granted,
they really put together a good game against the against the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys have a better line than the Seahawks, and I mean they got rocked. Granted, that guy Chaz Green who came in wasn't very good, but I mean overall, if you're looking at two lines, the Seahawks line is much worse than the Cowboys.
Okay, we're going to talk about the offense here in a second, and I understand that's a problem. We've been discussing that problem all year, right here on the Barbershop, where you're listening to T-Holla, coming to you from Snoqualmie Casino, talking about these Seattle Seahawks. We're going to definitely talk about the offense in a second, but that defense, who has lost one of its cornerstones in Richard Sherman. Hopefully this weekend we will get Earl Thomas back, which I still haven't heard anything.
I've heard he's coming back.
Definite that he's coming back. So you heard he has. I haven't heard anything. If he comes back, that actually helps us tremendously.
Now, who I haven't heard is coming back is Cam Chancellor. I don't
Cam
think anyone
Chancellor
knows.
is the big question mark, and that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Nobody seems to know what is going on with Cam Chancellor. I know he has some issues that he's been dealing with.
He's dealing with multiple stingers from what Pete Carroll said yesterday.
And we don't know if he's going to be available. When you got a guy like Julio Jones coming in here, you want all the weapons in the defensive backfield that you could possibly have. And to have those question marks in the air right now is just troubling to me. I don't have any questions about, fortunately, is that defensive front. They've done some good things up front with Michael Bennett. Of course, he's always been a great cornerstone of that defensive line. You got Frank Clark. You got Dwight Freeney, who's been able to do some incredible things in his old age here in Seattle. I don't know. There must be something about the glacier water that we're drinking here, obviously, that keeps these old guys young and fresh.
It's just Dwight Freeney is always going to be a beast.
That's
a freak. Just who he is.
He's a freak. So I think the key to success for the Seattle Seahawks defense on Monday night is going to be the pressure that they're able to put on Matty Ice. Matty Ice is still one of the most elite quarterbacks in the National Football League, even though they've had some troubles this year. The running back issue, they had Devontae Freeman, who left the game last week versus the Cowboys under the NFL concussion protocol. But they do have a very solid backup in Tevin Coleman. So it's gonna be a gun battle, man. I'm just really nervous. The one thing that we do have in our favor is the fact that it's taking place in CenturyLink Field, and that is always the 12th man is real. The noise that they make in that stadium is real. It's a definite advantage to the Seahawks, and they have to use it to their biggest. It's their biggest asset when it comes to playing here in Seattle. And of course, the weather's going to be inclement, so we have that in our favor.
I got tickets to that game. I got for free.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Lucky. So maybe you could take me because I can't get in because my friends don't help me out.
You got to
Marcus.
promise not to wear a 12 jersey, and I'll bring in.
But you can wear whatever you want, man. Because Marcus, when he comes back, his brother plays for the Falcons, so he already told me he's going to be wearing Falcons gear, which I don't understand. I get it. Family is thicker, blood is thicker than water. But to see Marcus Trufant in CenturyLink Field wearing a Falcons jersey, I know some fans are going to be taken aback when they see that.
No, he'll be in a box. They won't even see it.
No, Marcus is not going to box.
No? Oh, okay.
Marcus is a guy of the people, man. He walks amongst the people, man. And that is an issue I have. One of the challenges that I have with doing the barbershop. You have to have thick skin, and your self-esteem has to be on another level. Because as we walk through the stadium, we can only walk 2 to 3 feet at a time before somebody says, True, can we get a picture? True, can we get your autograph? Go Cougs. And so whenever somebody comes up, and it's nobody ever recognizes T-Holla. But I don't mind that. That's not a problem. But then they always say, hey, can you take a picture of me and True? Like, I'm chopped liver. So you know what I normally do? I grab their phone, and I take a bunch of selfies of myself. I don't take the picture. They get home, and they think they have a picture of Marcus Trufant, and they have like 17 pictures close up.
Who's this dude?
Of my nostrils. So next time you see me at the stadium with Marcus Trufant, you decide to ask for me to take your picture, think twice. Ask that other guy. Don't ask the short, stocky black dude. Ask somebody else. One thing I want to get out on the table, so we're talking about the Seahawks right now. We got the defensive issues, of course, with Richard Sherman not being in the game. The running game is continued to be a problem. Eddie Lacy has proven to not be the answer that we look for here in Seattle. I don't know if the Eddie Lacy experiment is over for the Seahawks. I feel like the fans in Seattle have had their fill of Eddie Lacy. And I'm not downing him personally. I'm just saying we look at a guy that came in here with so much promise. They expected the same productivity that they got when he was in Green Bay. And to this point in the season, he has 128 total yards with 2.7 yards per carry, which is completely abysmal. Now, we can attribute that to some of the offensive line issues that we've had. Okay, maybe. But you look back to when Chris Carson was healthy, and he was running behind the exact same offensive line, and he had way more productivity coming out of the backfield than Eddie Lacy did. So, for many, the Eddie Lacy experiment is over and done. And I think I'm venturing my way into that boat, to tell you the truth.
I think maybe the Thomas Rawls experiment should be over, too.
That was my next point. The Thomas Rawls experiment, which is it's been a few years in the making. And he has shown so much promise over the years. You see glimpses of greatness.
That Cincinnati game 2 years ago, I think, where he went for 200 yards?
He went berserk. And you see, like I said, you see the talent is there. You see glimpses of greatness in the kid. But it's just so – I wouldn't even say this year it's not even inconsistent. It's just been – it's not there at all. And it looks like sometimes he tries to make too much happen when in the National Football League you have to be a little bit more decisive. And it's just not working for the Seahawks. The Pro-Size deal, you can't win. You can't get
Both
any yards.
Ankles.
You can't get any yards with a walking boot on.
Both ankles. Can you believe that? Pete Carroll comes out last Thursday and says, I'm sorry to say, but CJ sprained his other ankle or broke his other ankle or something like that. It's like, how? How do you break both ankles in one season?
If you're Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass.
If you're Mr. Glass, that's how you do it, man. The kid, I hate to make fun, but no, I don't, because that's what I do. I make fun of people. He's injury prone, and it comes a point
Mr.
where
Glass.
They call me Mr. Glass. The kids call me Mr. Glass. It comes to a point where you have to cut bait, man. And I don't know. And I want to ask the people out there listening, 49451, What is the solution? I know they took Mike Davis off the practice squad, and we haven't seen any of it.
I can tell you about Mike Davis.
Oh, you know
he was a
Mike
49er.
Davis.
I can tell you about Mike Davis.
I mean, people have a change of scenery and a change of environment, and different things happen, Nathan.
I like Mike Davis, but he's not good.
Come on, man. You cannot say that about the kid. We haven't seen him in
with
the
that offensive line. Like, when he was with the 49ers, they had slightly better offensive line than they do now, but Mike Davis is not going to be the guy who fixes the run game for that team.
Well, something has to give. My question to you guys is, what's the answer? Number one, what's the answer at running back? Because I don't know at this point. There's nobody to go get. Do we just go away from the run completely? Do we become a completely pass-oriented team like we have been all season?
Back. That's what you do.
Say that again?
You make your quarterback your running back.
Well, he is that right now. He is our leading rusher right now on our offense that we have. And it's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but Russell Wilson has to carry the show. For this team to be successful and make a run at the playoffs, Russell Wilson has to be Mr. Do-It-All. He has to run. He has to pass. If he's not careful, he's going to have to throw the ball to himself. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Russell, you're going to have to earn your money. You are the $90 million man. You're going to have to earn it, man. A couple weeks ago, we had Slick Watts on the show. And we were talking about Jimmy Graham and the amount of money that he makes and his productivity. And Slick Watts came with the quote of the year. And he says, Jimmy Graham is going to have to adjust to the paper. Adjust to the paper. If you make a certain amount of money, you have to produce at a certain level. You have to adjust to that. Now, Russell Wilson, you're going to have to adjust to the paper, man. You have to take this team, put it on your back. If the Seahawks want a chance to get through the playoffs. I know we could talk about the Seahawks and the issues that they're going through and whether or not they're going to be successful with all the injuries and the trouble that they're dealing with. But we will wait and see what happens this Monday night. I'm hoping for the best because I'm going to be in the house. And if you guys are in the house, make sure you stop by Touchdown City before the game and come by and visit to me and True. We will be at the Sparkling Ice booth at least an hour before the game. Come by, say hi, take a picture, shake a hand. Don't ask me to take a picture of you, though, because I'm going to take a picture of myself, more than likely. But come by and say hi. Hey, it's T-Holla coming to you live from Snoqualmie Casino in the Barbershop. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more Seahawks, but I'm going to call somebody, one of my trusted, true friends that always makes me feel better since I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day and week. And the show's getting a little better. So I'm feeling good about that. But I'm going to call one of my buddies to make me feel good. Right here on the Barbershop from 950 KJR.
Now back to the Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Welcome back to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's T-Holla coming to you live from Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's closest casino, the Above It All experience where they are having a good time in it tonight, hanging out with me. They seem like they're the only people that want to hang out with me tonight because our Marcus Trufant, my co-host, partner in crime, is not here tonight. I'm holding down the fort. I will be here hanging out all the way until 8 o'clock. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. This has been the T-Holla terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day/week show. My Huskies got beat. The Seahawks lost Richard Sherman. True left me on the show. His fill-in called 10 minutes before to tell me he couldn't make it. And I just been plugging along. And you guys have been getting me through. Our loyal listeners have been getting me through this day. I had a problem with Comcast. Did I say the name? Sorry. My cable company today. I've been waiting for 6 months to get cable. I came today and they hooked up the wrong cable. It's just been terrible. Nathaniel, there's one other story I want to tell you about real quick before we move on, man.
All right.
Something that happened this past weekend that added to my terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week. True invited me to a special event. He said that Seattle Seahawk great Max Strong had a charity event that he wanted us to attend. He was doing a favor for Mac, and Mac wasn't going to be able to be there. So I was like, cool, I'm always down for charity events. I know Max Strong does great work in the community. He has a great foundation, and he often does stuff at Newcastle Golf Course. So True told me, he gave me the address, and it was in Newcastle. So I drove to Newcastle, followed my GPS, and I pulled up in front of a house. And there were no cars there. And I was like, this must be the wrong place. It's got to be at the golf course. And True was like, no, we're at the right place. And I'm like, what kind of charity event is inside a house? I'm thinking it's going to be an auction, some kind of gala, whatever, right? I walk into the house, and it's like 10 people just standing around the door waiting for us to walk in. I'm like, wait. First of all, I was like, is this an intervention? I mean, I don't think I have any addictions or anything that I don't know about. I don't know. And so we walk in. Come on in, True, T. Pleasure, glad to have you here. You guys want something to drink? You want something to eat? And we couldn't even get in the door before the people were just on us, right? And then they were like, you still working out? You look strong. What are you doing for a living now besides the radio show? Just a million questions and all. Listen. About 30 minutes into it, I still did not know what kind of charity event this was. I swear to God, I thought that we were in the movie Get Out. I text True the words, Get Out. I text True the words, Get Out. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie where they kidnap black people.
Did you know they put that movie in the Golden Globes as a comedy?
It kind of is funny.
I mean, it is funny.
After you see it, yeah, it is funny. But long story short, it ended up being that these people won an auction. And it was dinner with Max Strong. Mac was not going to be able to attend. It was a catered dinner with Max Strong. And True filled in for him. Max ended up showing up later. And it turned out to be a great event. A bunch of great people. Shout out to that family, Ed, Mary Kay, Bill, and all those guys that we had dinner with this past weekend. But it was kind of unnerving for a minute because I didn't know it was a miscommunication on Marcus's part, not telling me exactly what I was walking into. So that is some more of my terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week.
That's scary once you've seen that movie, just because
it is.
You never know.
You just never know. Hey, man, I know we've been getting a lot of text messages and calls. You said we got a very interesting call earlier.
Yeah, some guy called and he said, I guess I'll do the accent and everything. He said, hey, man, what's up? I want to know what's going on with the guy who had the cops come to him. And so I think he's talking about our boy Tony.
Yes. Macaroni Tony. If you guys know and you listen to our show, we have a family member, because we have our loyal listeners and people who are involved with our show. One guy that stands above them all is Macaroni Tony. And he's a guy that we always get the good word from, and he always gives us good advice, and he always makes me feel good. Last week, as we were talking to him on the air, he ran into some difficulties with the police, and I haven't heard from him since. So
let me get him up real
Nathan,
quick.
Hit him up on the phone, man. If you got his intro music.
I got his intro music. You want me to play that right now?
Yeah, play the intro music so we can get
I'm
the
gonna call him
mood
right now.
set for Macaroni Tony.
Now ask yourself, who's the?
Okay.
I think we got him.
Macaroni.
Yeah, hey, say Gangsta Mac, what happened with your brother?
Mac, man, what's going on, man? How are you today, man?
I'm a little cold, but I'm fine. I'm cold, but I'm fine.
It's a little cold outside in Seattle right now, man. Hey, listen, the listeners have
I'm not in Seattle.
Oh, okay. Where are you?
Get your bearings straight, player. Listen to me, man. If you want to keep up with me, you got to follow me. You understand what I'm talking about there?
Okay, we got to follow you. But listen, Mac, listen. Last time we spoke to you, last week, we were in the middle of a conversation. You were about to give us the good word, and then you got pulled over by the cops, man. What happened?
Well, I was traversing the earth with a young lady, a friend of mine. And, you know me, I had a bottle of yak.
You had a bottle of yak in the car with you? You had a bottle of cognac in the car with you?
Well, it was in the car with me, and it was cracked. I had it cracked. And to tell you the truth, I had some on my breath. I didn't swallow it, but it was on my breath. I was rinsing my mouth out.
You rinsed your mouth out with cognac. You didn't drink it, though. Okay.
I didn't drink it. It wasn't on my liver yet. You know what I'm saying? But what had happened was I was spending some time with this young lady of mine. I was on the phone talking to you fine young fella. Mm-hmm. And then I seen the lights. You know, I could spot the lights from a long ways away. And since my little friend was sitting here with me, I said, listen here, baby, you got to do me a solid. And I gave her some instructions. And I have a warrant. I had a warrant, fellas.
You got a warrant?
I had a warrant. And my license was suspended.
Tony,
yeah.
why did you have a warrant? Why?
Well, it was some time back. I was with another lady friend of mine that I was courting and romancing, and we were out there. If you're familiar with Seattle, there's a place in Queen Anne where you can kind of go sit on the side and you can overlook the Space Needle and things. And we were sitting up there, and we were just kind of playing touchy-feely in the front seat. And I was parked in a handicap, and I don't have a handicap sticker. Long day, so I was taking that yak and smoking in black.
Okay.
Next thing you know, I took a nap.
You smoking blacks, drinking yak, and you took a nap in the handicap spot.
In the handicap, yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps if you were real, you'd know about that.
Right.
So what had happened is I kind of fell out a little bit. I was dreaming. And I seen a light flashing in my face, and I just assumed it was my young lady friend flashing a light, taking a video of the Mac taking a nap. But then I heard the tap.
Are we in a Dr. Seuss book and I didn't know it?
I think so.
You talking to a bona fide player, punk. I need you making fun of what I'm talking about. You talking to a bona fide player. My words happen to rhyme. That just means I'm talking on time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, who is this chump? That ain't true. That don't sound like true.
No, that's not true. True's not here today, Mac. Man, he's out of town today, so I'm holding down the fort, man.
By yourself?
All by myself, man. That's why I wanted to call you. You always make me feel better, man.
Who was that ghost that was just talking right there then?
That was old Nathaniel.
Oh, Nathaniel. Okay. Well, what happened? It was a police. He was shining his lights through the window. And I was saying that was nothing but yaks. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but yaks, blacks, and condom packs. All right. And so I tried to get out. I tried to run. I couldn't run. And then like the last time, and so long story short, I got caught for trying to evade the police. I parked in a handicap. I had the yak on my breath again, and yeah, so I had a warrant out. Lost my license.
But you got to take you all right though now, right, Mac? Man, you good to go, right?
Not now, because I still got a pulled hammy now from last week.
You pulled your hammy. Oh, Lord.
Good luck, man. Good luck, man. When I got up out that car, I was gone. Listen to me, man. I was
hauling ass.
I was gone now. You know, the Mac still got it. But the thing is, when I bought my reptiles, I bought them a half size too big. And listen, the tissue was slipped up out of there, man. And when the tissue slipped, I was on one foot. You know, I walk with a limp. You ever try to run with a limp?
You can't do it, Mac, man.
I pulled the hammer.
Hey, listen, I hope you get some treatment on that, Mac. Before we let you go, man, I had to get some advice about Richard Sherman, man. We've lost Richard Sherman for the season. I can't get out of here without asking you what you think about that. First and foremost, how the defense is going to act without Richard Sherman being back there, for one. And for two, a lot of people have started the rumor that we may have seen Richard Sherman for the very last time.
For the last time. For the last time.
So what do you think about those two things, Mac?
First of all, I don't like rumors. Rumors are for losers. Yet at the same time, I understand, because it's going back to something that the Mac said a few times back when I was talking to y'all. Remember when I was talking about the team had a lack of identity?
Yeah.
Richard is another one of them people. Richard Roundtree, like they need a Richard Roundtree back there.
Richard Sherman, not Richard Roundtree. Richard Sherman.
That man with the hair coming down out of his helmet. It looked like a woman to me with all that hair coming out. But he's so important on the defense. Look, man, you're missing the nucleus of the bunch. All right, number 29.
Right.
Eric Thomas.
Earl Thomas. Yeah.
Earl. Oh, Earl. Yeah. And then Cameron, all he want to do is pose for the pictures for the ladies. He hurt. Sometimes he's not hurt. I think they're really in trouble back there. I really do. Yeah. And is it Achilles, that injury that he got? It's
Achilles. It's called Achilles, not Achilles. Achilles, Mac.
Yeah, that's how I want to come back from. If you look at Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, he was.
They said when
tough.
Kobe Bryant, they said part of his comeback was, they said he started his comeback when he went back and shot them free throws after he hurt his Achilles. And it was a long process. So I don't know if Richard is, I don't know if he's determined and if he got the willpower, but it's going to be hard to come back and bring that team, because I think the team is going to suffer some bad beatings in this year's season.
They're going to suffer some losses for the rest of the season.
They're going to be hard for the makeup of the team. I think it's going to be very difficult to get over. People are going to start looking at each other, and you don't have those strong personalities in that locker room, I don't think, no more, that people can really lean on. You know, that's what they need right now, strong personalities that believe in their team and believe in each other. And I don't know if they got it, man.
Wow.
I just don't. I really don't.
Wow, that is strong words, Mac, man. Hey, listen, we appreciate the words every single time, even if they aren't necessarily the words we want to hear. Sometimes maybe they are the words we need to hear. Maybe it's the truth that Mac Man is giving us right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to give it. Hey, listen to me. I just give you a shout-out from Coach Quitman, man. My hand Coach Quitman, man, with a fine young friend, and I just want y'all just to be cool. And, man, hey, let me tell you something. T-Holla. You got to watch what you're doing, man. True, I need to know a little bit about you. I know where you at, man. Where you at, brother?
Hopefully we'll get him back next week, man. Hopefully he'll be back safe and sound from the East Coast. Mac, man, in the meantime, man, I need you to stay safe, man. Stay out of trouble, man. Take care of them warrants, and don't get in no more trouble, bro.
Nah, I'll be good, man. You be good, too, man. I thank you, man, for looking out for me and caring about me, man. Just think about me come Thanksgiving. And you and Daniel, you're doing a good part of it.
It's Nathaniel, not Daniel.
Zay Daniel?
Yeah, we'll just call it that.
Zay Daniel. Okay, all right. Y'all be good, man. Y'all just be good. Be good to each other and be good to yourself.
Right on, man. We'll catch up with you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our boy Macaroni Tony. Sometimes he gives you the word maybe you don't necessarily want to hear, but it's the word that you need to hear, man. It's heavy. It's heavy. It's heavy.
He's the best, you know?
Yeah,
sometimes you just I don't know how anyone can listen to this show and listen to him talk and not smile, because he's the best.
You gotta love him, man. Like I said, he gives it to you real, man. Hey, when we come back, though, I want to hear from you guys. It's that segment that we call Holla Holla with True and T-Holla. Unfortunately, there's no True for you to holla at, so you're just going to be hollering at T-Holla. Hit me with any question that you might have on your mind, whether it's sports-related, current events, wild, wacky, crazy, ridiculous. I don't care. Any question that's on your mind, I'm going to do my best to answer it. Live from Snoqualmie Casino. It's the Barbershop here on Sports Radio 950 KJ.
Now back to the Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Welcome back to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's T-Holla coming to you live from Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's closest casino. And shout out to my man Macaroni Tony. We had to give him a little ode to Macaroni, that Miles with that Yak song, the remix, Shannon Sharp. Appreciate you guys for listening. It has been the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad T-Holla show.
I feel like we made it a little bit better, though.
We made it a lot better, man. I feel so much better that we've got this, man. We got a great show under our belts. I've been hanging out with the great people here at Snoqualmie Casino. Got the chance to talk to my man Macaroni Tony. I called my best friend, lawyer, and he changed his number on me. But it's all good. I'm still good.
I called it again. It said that number's been disconnected.
It's all right, though. I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still strong. And we have questions to answer from you, our loyal listeners, in the segment that we call Holla Holla with True and T-Holla. Holla, holla. Anybody that's ready to get dollars. All right, let's get to it. We only got a few minutes, my man Nathaniel. What do you got?
All right, so with the signing of Byron Maxwell and Lane being a starter again, do you think the Seahawks have any chance to win?
You know what? I think with that defensive front and the pressure that they're able to get on quarterbacks, they still have the chance. They're just going to have their work cut out for them. Bobby Wagner has been playing outstanding all season. He's going to have to keep that up. We're going to have Michael Bennett, Frank Clark, Dwight Freeney. All those guys do their job, and they have a shot. And when you have Russell Wilson at quarterback, you always have an opportunity to win, man.
All right, next one. What affects your perception of Lonzo Ball?
read?
I'm sorry. Perception of Lonzo Ball. More stats or Laker wins?
What? Honestly, what affects my perception of him has been neither one, his family, his daddy, has been the negative impact on my perception of him. But ultimately, we know the Lakers are a terrible team. They've been terrible for a couple of years now. So it's just going to be his personal stats and what he's going to be able to do to that team to build them up.
It's a young team, too. That's something you can't forget.
Very true.
They're not the Golden State Warriors.
Shut up. Bay Area boy. What else
question.
You got, man?
How many movers from a moving company does it take to move Terry's furniture?
See, somebody out there is trying to be funny right now, man. And they're talking about my terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week still. How many movers does it take to move me? As I told you guys before, I've been moving for the past 6 months, and I actually got a chance to move into my house this past weekend, and I called a moving company 3 times, a legit moving company, to help me move the boxes into my house, and they never called me back. They never called. Listen, so I was expecting them to show up on Saturday. They never showed, and so I moved it all myself. So that's how many movers it takes from a moving company to help me. 0. I'm a self-made man. And my back is killing me to this day.
I would play the back broken soundbite. We don't do none this time. We got one more left.
All right, what's up?
T-Holla, will you ever talk about the days where you listen to some Slayer and other metal?
Oh, somebody knows me, man. I wasn't always a hip-hop aficionado, man. I used to get down to heavy metal and punk rock music, man. Here's the story behind that. In the late 80s, I know people looking at me right now in the casino like I'm crazy. Like this football play. He looked like I could, play football right now with a big black dude with a bald head listening to punk rock and thrash metal. In the late 80s, I used to ride skateboards. And all the guys that used to ride skateboards used to be long-haired, white guy surfers, and they listen to heavy metal, punk rock music. So whenever we be skateboarding, they be listening to Slayer and Metallica and Anthrax, and then so I just kind of started listening to it, and then I started banging my head, man. So I know I'm hip to the heavy metal, man. I get down, I rock out.
I think everyone had a heavy metal, like punk rock phase in their life, no matter who they are.
Not most black guys, I promise you.
Hey,
I was one of them.
You're a special breed.
Me and what's his name, Rucker. Darius Rucker. We were and Fishbone. You guys remember Fishbone? I'm dating myself right now. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out with me and me alone. Without True. And Nathaniel, appreciate you, Nathaniel, for holding it down out there for me.
Of course, I got you.
Hey, when we come back next week, hopefully the Seahawks will have a win in the column versus the Atlanta Falcons, and True and I will be back in the house talking about it. Hey, it's the Barbershop right here on Sports Radio 950 KJR.